Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a Ranger Raptor and we're installing a 40-inch curved Pro Series slide bar in front of the grille. First thing we're going to do is remove the push pins from the top cover. So get a flathead screwdriver, get it in the groove, lift up the top. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now that we got all the clips removed, we'll go ahead and take the top cover off. See what else is holding it. There it goes. Alright, next thing we want to do is loosen these two 8mm bolts. Actually, I'll take it back. We're not loosening them, we're removing them. The next thing we have to remove is this lower trim piece because it is hiding a few bolts there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a prying tool and just work my way corner until it pops out. There we go. I'm going to grab it and I'm just going to unclip the rest of it. It goes all together. Bam! Next thing we're going to do is remove these two 8mm bolts that are holding the grille from the bottom. So on the bottom there are two 8mm bolts on the side and there's also one in the middle, so I'm going to remove that one as well. So before I remove the grille, I like to put some tape on the bumper so that way it doesn't get scratched accidentally. This step is optional, but I highly recommend it. So now, since everything's loose, we can pry these clips off and remove the grille. So we're going to get ourselves in the corner and kind of pull on it a little bit. See, and I release these clips. And we're going to do the same thing on the passenger side. There it is. So now I see that this wire with this harness is going to go with the grille. I want to go ahead and loosen these clips so that way I can pull it off all as one unit. So there it is, one. You just kind of pry it and pull it up, pry it and pull it up. Okay, so let me summarize everything. There's two 8mm bolts on top that were removed. There's three 8mm bolts on the bottom that were removed. We disconnected the clips as well as the harnesses for the camera. And we also disconnected the clips and the harnesses for the windshield washer tube. And now we're ready to remove it. So here it is. It all comes off as a unit. So now that we have the grille off, let's talk about the brackets. Driver and the passenger side. And we're going to use these two bolts to mount the initial master brackets. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this bolt. Even though the light bar is in front of the grille, there is no way to mount it onto the truck without removing the grille first. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the driver's side bracket and I'm going to thread the same bolt we've just removed into the bracket. So don't tighten it all the way because we need to maneuver it. You want your brackets to flare out like this, so that way you have a secondary attachment point. So like I mentioned before, they swivel still. We're going to be able to swivel them to set the midpoint of the light bar, and then we'll put the grille back on and then attach the light bar. So now we're getting ready to install the side mounts onto the light bar. So now I'm going to do the passenger side. Once again, make sure that the bolt welded to this bracket is actually facing down. So now that we have the sides attached to the light bar, we can thread these bolts into the holes. So now that we've inserted the bolts into the openings of the main bracket, we can center the light bar. And I usually use this middle post with this light. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a sixth light on both sides. So now that it's centered, we can tie down the original factory bolt that hold the main bracket in place. So I'm going to say don't miss the step of the alignment, because if these tabs are not in proper space, the grille will not go back on the vehicle perfectly. The way this bracket is designed is that the master bracket gets installed, the grille goes on, and then the light bar goes on after that. Make sure that these bolts on the mounting bracket are nice and tight because we don't want any vibration in the light after it's installed. So now we're getting ready to install the grille. So keep in mind that the light bar is going to install after the grille. So what we're going to do with the wiring, we're going to feed it through here. This is the hole that it's going to feed the wire through. So I'm going to tuck the wire, and now I'm getting ready to install the grille. Pull the access wire through the opening. And now we can install the light bar through the mounts. Let me put these bolts on the bottom on both sides so it doesn't fall off. Okay, so now I'm going to feed the rest of the wire through, because now we already have the light bar in final positioning. So now that the wire is fed through, I can go ahead and tighten the bottom bolt. Mount this one too. There it is. And now let's go ahead and do the wiring. So the Pro Series light bar, the wiring has 3 wires. There's a black wire, which is the ground. There's a red wire, that's the power source for the powerful white light. And there's also a white wire that has the power source for the amber DRL. Ford actually put auxiliary switches at different parts of the truck. So the first one will be the yellow wire, which is auxiliary number 6. Based on the chart, it's a 25 amp fuse and it's a yellow wire. If you look behind the auxiliary fuse box, you'll see 3 more switches, number 1, 2, and 5. The violet with the green. Number 2 is blue and orange. 5 is green and brown. So we're gonna put the white light on switch number 5, it's 25 amps, and we're gonna put the amber DRL on switch number 1, which is violet and green. We already put crimp connectors on the bare wires. So the white wire, that's the one we're gonna put on the switch number 1, which is violet and green. And then the red wire, we're gonna put on switch number 5, which is green and brown. So that only leaves us with the ground. There's another bundle of wires which is going to provide us with a ground. The yellow is not the ground, it's the one next to it, which is black with a yellow stripe. You can ground it somewhere else, but there's a good ground already here, so we're gonna go ahead and use it. Okay, so let's go ahead and test our light bar. Switch number 1 is gonna be the amber DRL, and switch number 5 is gonna be the powerful white light. It looks nice and aggressive in the front of the bumper, but yet very tucked close to it. Thank you guys for watching. I know you're gonna love the product.